Live. Hey everybody, my name is Mamadou and Jai,
I am Derek Gautier. Don't get
and
it
we're
wrong.
and we're the Relink team, and welcome to episode 1 of Block to Block.
The
This
Relink
is
boys. Yes, sir. Let's go. Let's do it.
the Relink boys, man.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir. The talk
so
is different.
always different. So essentially, this is like the first episode of our podcast, Block to Block, in which we're aiming to really demystify the world of Web3. So, as we all know, we're in this new technological era where blockchain technology is really ushering in a new wave of innovation, right? And we're throwing around all these terms such as crypto, NFTs, DAOs, and much more, right? And so, what we want to do is really break down what's occurring in this market, break down the technology, and make it so everybody, you as the viewer who's a creator, entrepreneur, or somebody in general, is able to utilize this technology to really create real value and solve real problems. Because it's a new wave of technology, and technology is a tool that we must all utilize to really make an impact.
Exactly. Exactly. It's not as scary as it seems. Even for us, we're relatively new. You know, came into learning about crypto actually in college back in like 2017. Um, Decided not to invest. Like biggest mistake of my life. Be up a couple hundred thousand right now. Um, but within the last year, I think we've really committed to just learning and taking the time to really understand. What's this blockchain thing. Starting to get into the news, right? What's going on in the markets, how are things moving, and that's led us to think more about how it's gonna affect businesses. Again, it's not as scary as it seems. It's not this outlandish thing. It's just once you understand it, once you get it, you get it. You don't have to be the scientist of the year. You just
Mhm.
need to understand, this is how it works and this is how it affects my business. So that's what we're here to do. We're here to give you that game.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, and just a little context about our business, like with Relink, our goal is to help creators and entrepreneurs integrate this technology into their ventures, right? And one thing that we're doing is we're launching our platform called Timbucktoo, which is a physical NFT marketplace, the first ever, right? Where all of the NFTs that will be on the platform are associated to physical products that are like collectibles. So we're working with a variety of really dope businesses, creators, in which the products that you'll receive are associated with a collectible item. So that's one thing, that we're really excited to really
Yeah.
bring into the market. But overall, man, we're just trying to be a part of your journey of learning along with us, right?
And don't forget the Timbuktu. It's important.
The
You know what I'm
Timbuktu.
saying? The one and only.
You
The
see the
first
T,
ever. Yes,
the
sir.
Timbuktu.
The. Yes, sir.
Timbuktu.
Talk is different. The talk is different around here. Yes, sir. Yes,
But
sir.
yeah. But yeah, we're just gonna start off with like some key insights from the market from the past week and just take it from there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So yeah, just getting into to the news of things. One big thing right now is the Ethereum merge, or the merge as people are calling it. Big exciting times for the crypto Web3 NFT world. Um, it's going to be big. So if you don't know, uh, Ethereum is planning to move from a proof of work system to a proof of stake system. So to do that, they're going to have to merge their legacy system, which is that proof of work system, with their new proof of stake, or the beacon chain system that they've set up. Has actually been up and running, I think, for a few years now. And so they're finally getting to the point where they're going to merge those two together and officially move to that proof of stake a proof of stake blockchain system. And
Mhm.
that's huge, man. That's huge. One of the big things is, on the environmental side, is gonna, increase the environmental friendliness of the platform by 99%. That is huge. Um, so that's something to look out for. And another thing on our end, we actually use the Ethereum blockchain by way of Polygon.
Mhm.
So if you don't know, Polygon is a side chain that is connected to the Ethereum platform, right? And what they do is they solve a couple things that Ethereum had, which they're hoping to actually solve with this merge. But one is being scalability. So with proof of work, it's really hard. So the way that it works is there's these complicated, complex transactions, and it takes a lot of energy, and it takes a lot of time to complete those transactions. So proof of work, it's just a little bit harder to scale. There's only a certain amount of transactions per second that they can process.
Mhm.
And so with this merge, they'll be able, to do that a little bit better. Proof of stake is a lot more efficient, effective. But Polygon has solved that issue, right, with their side chain, and also as well the environmental friendliness. So Polygon as a side chain uses proof of stake already, and so they've already been on the kick of environmental friendly, scalability, and a big reason that we use it as well is it has the capability for fiat payments, right? So for you to
Mhm.
use your credit card or debit card to purchase an NFT, you don't have to buy a crypto. You can get into the game right now. You heard it here, folks. The Timbucktoo is bringing you fiat payments for your NFTs, as well as physical NFTs, right? So we changing the game for y'all, changing the
Most
game.
definitely. Most definitely. What do you think is like the biggest takeaway or biggest lesson for people who are listening about like this Ethereum merge and really and Polygon as well?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest takeaway is always going to be that with all technology, it takes time, right? It's never going to be perfect on the first go round, and I think that's part of the reason why you want to get in early, right? You want to understand it. You want to understand how you need this technology to work for you, what you're looking for. You'll become better at understanding what's good and what's bad. I know that we know this from experience as being entrepreneurs. Um, you don't have a lot of room for error, but I think
Mhm.
what you do have is you have some room for innovation. And so with that innovation, you will have some hiccups. But the good thing about it is you get a little bit of grace when you're trying to innovate, trying to be innovative and do new things. So like I said, biggest takeaway, nothing's gonna be perfect in the beginning. Get in early so you can kind of get a feel for how things are going, and things are only going to get better and easier with time. Another like slight takeaway too is that if I'm a business owner, I'm watching this closely. I'm
Right.
watching this closely because with this new functionality, that means shoot if really if you think about it, if Ethereum is able to process transactions faster, it's more environmentally friendly, and Polygon is built on those things, it's only going to boost Polygon, or it's only going to boost Ethereum. And these are not the only two blockchains, right? And
Mhm.
Polygon isn't the only side chain that's built on Ethereum. So you know as a business owner, what I would also take away is that this technology is going to become a part of everyday operations in some
Absolutely.
way or another. Polygon has already created partnerships with, major businesses of the like of Disney, Reddit, Meta. These big movers are already, moving into this space. They're already taking the time to invest and create partnerships to kind of understand and position themselves. Don't get left behind. Don't do it. We need
Absolutely.
y'all, as business owners to be on it.
Absolutely. And like even like for more context, right? Like
Yeah.
Ethereum is like the largest blockchain when it comes to dApps, right? Decentralized applications. So if you look at like crypto specifically, Bitcoin is the biggest cryptocurrency with like the largest market cap. Ethereum is number two.
Yep.
And that's really because Ethereum has built this ecosystem in which you can use their blockchain to have this innovative technology such as the NFTs. And you can really integrate it to be a part of your business process. So to Derek's point, even if you choose not to go with the Ethereum blockchain and you may want to go with an alternative chain like Cardano, Solana, etc. It's very important just to like look at the fundamentals of that blockchain. Like how are they doing, how are they processing transactions? What speed are they doing transactions?
Mm-hmm.
How many dApps are being created? Like what's the volume, right? These are like some of the questions that you need to really ask yourself. And that's why it's important to pay attention to news such as the Ethereum merge. Because if they're already number two and they're able to become even more efficient,
Yep.
who's to say where they can go from here?
Yep. Hey man, don't be afraid to be a student of YouTube University as well. You know what I'm saying? I spent a lot of mornings just going and looking up crypto news, clicking on a video and listening to that making breakfast, or just in
Mhm.
the morning as maybe I'm taking a shower or something like that. Man, don't never be afraid to be a student of YouTube University. That's my favorite.
Absolutely. Great.
Yeah.
So the next piece of news that we want to go into is talking about BendDao, right? That's been
Yeah,
like, go ahead.
and I was gonna say, just kind of segue into that, I think that's a perfect example of do your research, do your own research right there. But Mamadou, please let the people know about BendDao and what's going on with that.
Yeah. So even before I'll talk about BendDao, I do want to take a second just to break down what is a DAO in general.
Okay, okay.
So a
Give us
DAO
the
stands
game.
for DAO. It stands for decentralized autonomous organizations. And these are like community led entities that have no central authority, right? Like the power is within the people. And what happens in these DAOs is members own like a certain token that's associated with this DAO, and they're able to cast votes on major decisions regarding that entity. And what's dope about it is they utilize smart contracts, which is just a fancy term for code that exists on the blockchain that are able to execute these decisions. So in- it's a very innovative way to ensure that communities as a whole are able to participate in the decision making process and use technology to execute those decisions. So that's a DAO. Ben
Sounds like the
DAO,
future.
it is the future, man. It is the future.
Crazy. Gonna put us all out of business.
Well, not us, but
Nah, hopefully.
but
Never know.
so BendDao is a peer-to-peer lending platform, right? And what they do is they'll use NFTs as collateral to loan out Ethereum to borrowers. So let's say you're a member of BendDao and you have a NFT that's highly valuable, such as a Bored Ape Yacht Club NFT, right? You'll deposit that NFT into BendDAO's wallet, and what they'll do is, let's say your NFT is worth 100,000. You deposit it in their wallet. Will lend you up to 40% of the value of that floor price. So you'll get like $40,000 worth of Ethereum as as a loan. And what's cool about it is, with NFTs, sure, many of these NFTs are highly valued, as we've seen previously, but it's not super liquid, right? Like you may have an NFT that's worth 100,000 or more, but you say, okay, I have this digital artwork worth so much, but how am I able to access the capital? So BendDAO was a solution to allow you to access capital for your NFTs. And
Yeah.
now, how it works, if a borrower was to default on that loan, since you use that NFT as collateral and it's in BendDAO's wallet, they'll just put it up on the auction block. And that's a way in which, people have the ability to like bid. The bidding starts at 95% of that NFT's value based on like the collection's current floor price. And folks are just able to like bid and snatch up the NFT. So you may default on your loan, but they are able to like resell it for 95% or more and recoup some of that capital. And that's the way in which they are able to really hedge their bet. They bet against risk. So that's the business model. In theory, it sounds like a
Okay.
great business model, right?
In theory.
But what's happened within the past week is they went through a bank run. A bank run being like when people pull all their bread out of the platform. Because as we know, since we're in a recession, that's the word of the day is recession. And what has
Damn, that's the
happened,
word of the day?
that's the word of the day. Well, it's one
Yeah.
of the words of the
Okay.
day. There's many words of the day.
Okay.
But it's the word of the story, recession.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
as we entered this bear market, we've seen a crashing within both the world of crypto and NFTs by 90%. So you may had NFTs that are worth six figures, but then if it's worth 100,000 today, but it drops by 90%, is worth 10K tomorrow.
Right.
That's not a pretty situation at all.
That's not even 40%.
It's 90, right? So many of these NFTs have just been dropping drastically in value. And then during this time as well, we've been seeing many different Web3 projects become insolvent, right? Like a lot of these exchanges, like a Celsius or what have
Mm.
you, become insolvent when they're telling like their customers or their users, hey, we ain't got your bread no more. We ran out of money.
Oh, hell nah.
So BendDao was on like the precipice of a collapse, right? At one point, they had 10,000 ETH within their wallet, which is 16.5 million. And then
Man,
over the weekend, it dropped to 5 ETH, $8,000, right?
it dropped
So,
to 5 ETH?
yep, you went from
What?
16 mil to 8,000
Oh, man.
because, people were scared. Like a lot of these
Right.
projects have been falling apart. The NFTs are falling apart.
Yep.
Folks are defaulting on their loans on the platform.
And they're unable to sell
Yeah, so
the collateral.
but lucky for BendDao, like during like the last few days, a lot of one people were able to like buy up a lot of these NFTs off the auction, and two folks did come back and put some of their ETH back into the reserves. So as of now, they're at 7,479 ETH or 12.3 million within their reserves. But it was a very scary situation in which that entire business almost collapsed. And interestingly
Yeah.
enough, the co-founder, his username being Code and Coffee, he had this one quote that I want everybody to pay attention to. He said, "We underestimated how illiquid NFTs could be in a bear market when setting the initial parameters." So essentially, it's this is really the lesson I want like all my creators, all my entrepreneurs, everybody with a venture. This is what you really have to think about. You when you're creating up your idea of your venture, you have to think about all scenarios. Like not only what happens when we're in a bull market when the economy's good, what happens when we're in a bear market? What happens when there is a recession? Is your business model sustainable enough to survive throughout all economic cycles? Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, with the NFTs, it's a great business concept, but in my humble opinion, the problem with this model was like the NFTs. As we know, NFTs in general are very unique, right? So because of that, it is difficult to really extract that capital out. And if you have,
Yep.
and what we've been seeing too during this crash is a lot of NFTs simply don't have intrinsic value built within them. We had a bubble. It was an economic bubble.
Yep. Yep.
It would have been different if these were NFTs that are backed by physical assets like commodities or collectibles, right? Like, hey, we have this NFT for X amount of grams of gold, and BendDao was able to have that gold within a storage unit in the real world, in addition to their NFT in the digital world. And if you
Yep.
don't, you get what I'm saying? If you default on your
Yep.
payment,
Yep. Yep.
then they're able to sell that off.
Yeah.
Some kind of asset that's not so volatile in price. But go ahead.
No, definitely, definitely. I mean, and that's also why, and we talk about this a good bit, why it's sometimes good to build in a recession, and why the most successful companies come out of a recession, because they're
Hmm.
building, with, when you're building within a fire, you make sure your house is fireproof, so the next recession comes, you're already thinking about it. You've already set up parameters and set up little systems, and you put systems in place to make sure that you're protected and your business is protected.
Absolutely.
So, that's another thing too, is can't be scared during these times. You gotta kind of nut up or shut up, as the old folks like to say. You gotta get in where it's hot. So, Mamadou, I'm interested in this, because you talked a little bit about BendDao. Um, so just to make sure we're hitting on, like, what's the DAO aspect of BendDao? Could you explain to the people a little bit, just like, you don't have to get too detailed, but just high level, like, um, you know, where some of that DAO piece comes into the equation. And I can
Yeah.
add some here too, if need
Yeah.
be, but
So one thing that was happening during this week was, you know, as the company was really falling apart, they were putting in different like votes, right? Like emergency votes, if you will, of hey, how can we turn this thing around, right? Like
mm,
instead of functioning the decision making process in this way, like how can we change some of this rule set so we can ensure that we don't become insolvent and that people
right.
are still utilizing us. So that was one thing. They were like voting for different proposals regarding how regarding, like, for example, with the auction bids, right? Like starting at
Okay.
95%, they was
Yep.
thinking, hey, maybe we can like lower that rule set to like maybe like 85% or 70%, right? Like, so that's where the
Mm,
DAO component comes into play, where people, the community is voting on these community or emergency proposals to really resolve the issue.
got you. So, and so it's not one person
No.
that's controlling. Okay. Yeah, man, that's different. A DAO is, it's a different animal, a different beast. It sounds dope. It also sounds like, it definitely takes some community commitment, if you will. But I'm sure if your money is on the line, you'll as soon as you see the news, you get the ping, you'll definitely take notice.
Yeah.
So,
The only other thing I'll say on this situation as another takeaway is
uh-huh.
be careful, right? There's many platforms that will promise you things like if you're in crypto, hey, you can stake your crypto where you give us your crypto and then we can give you a return, like interest returns or
Yep.
similar to BendDao. Like really evaluate these models and you got to ask yourself like, do they have a sustainable business model for when things are tough, like right now?
Yep.
Because the last thing you want is for these platforms and these exchanges to go insolvent. They tell you we don't have your bread, and now you lost out on
Mhm.
thousands
Yeah.
of your hard-owned investments, right?
Yep. Yep. No, for sure. If you guys haven't heard about it, or, definitely take a look at Circle and Terra Luna. Those were two. No, I'm sorry, not Circle. Celsius. My bad. Celsius and Terra Luna. Those were two big things in the news over the past couple months. Just man, people out here, they just doing shit, man. They just doing things. So definitely
Yeah,
be careful. Take a look at those, and make sure you catch some of those red flags. Uh, learn from other people's mistake. Just like if you were
absolutely.
dating.
Exactly.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, so that's great. Is there any other takeaways from BendDao that you want to give the people?
I think that's really it at this point, man. You just
That's
gotta
it.
be careful, evaluate these business models, and
Yeah,
in my personal opinion about like how they probably should have did the NFT component, right?
yeah. Let's hear it. Oh, okay. You already gave it. You gave
I
it
already
already.
gave it, man.
You gave.
Like it
You
should have.
did.
It's
You did.
when you're looking at these NFTs, right? And this isn't financial advice, but just general principles,
None of this is financial advice. We want to make sure we state that
right?
clearly.
Always consult with a certified financial professional.
That is not
This
us.
is just simply for educational and entertainment purposes.
That is all we do. That is it.
Yes.
That's it.
As you're evaluating these NFTs, like you got to really determine what's the intrinsic value. Is it just digital artwork? Does it have a special type of utility? Is it tied to some sort of asset? And that will really have a huge bearing on both the true value of that NFT and its liquidity, right?
Yeah.
Like how quickly you can get capital for it. So
Yeah.
those are just some things to look at.
So basically, what he's telling y'all, the Timbucktoo. Listen, the URL, you need to sign up today to learn more about what we're doing. TheTimbucktoo.com. That is Timbuck, BUCKTOO.com.
We'll put it in the description.
We'll put it in the description. And he's trying to let you know we are backing our NFTs with physical products of real utility. You know what I'm saying? None of this fake fugazi. Now let me let me not go there. Let me not go there.
Yeah, we
We
episode 1, man.
we not.
Episode 3, you can talk crazy.
Hey, listen. You know how we do, man. You know how we do. We sending shots. We sending shots always. But nah, man, definitely do your own research. Take a look at what we're doing. Definitely visit all of our social medias at Relink Global. Check us out. We got some great drops coming up. We'll talk a little bit more about that. But we want to move on into the quick take for the day. So today we'll be talking about the copyright issue with NFTs, right? So right now, I'm sure you guys have probably heard of the Bored Ape Yacht Club or Crypto Punks, some of those more popular NFT projects, and a big thing that kind of was talked about, especially in the early to mid early days, is the ability to own that NFT and to own that intellectual property, if you will, right? So if you own this specific Bored Ape, you were able to license that out for, let's say, a cartoon or something like that. But what we're finding is that may not exactly be the case,
Mhm.
right? So we're seeing that uh, there was a study done by the Galaxy Research. It is a institute that's connected with Cornell, and so they were doing some research and really trying to understand how the licensing process works with these NFTs. And what they found is very messy right now. This is
Mhm.
a new nascent industry. You got to think of it, similar to the internet in the 2000s, right? Like you
Yep.
could pretty much do whatever. And so, there's a lot of kinks to work out. So on the licensing is super messy right now. It's not exactly going as people thought it would, right? So we're seeing some projects where licensing is even being taken away, and being kept by the creators of those NFT projects. We've even seen some projects try to adopt Creative Commons licensing, but that's effectively killing the ownership of the intellectual property and the ability to benefit from that intellectual property. Um, so we're seeing a lot of problems. There was even one that Moonbirds actually. They went to CC0, which is basically a Creative Commons license that says it's any moonbird could be used for any public use at all,
Right.
right? So one specific owner of a moonbird had a deal on the table and lost the deal because of that move, right? So you want to definitely just be aware that right now things are very early on. Um, I think the word of the day, or the phrase of the day, if you will, is do your own research.
Yeah.
'Cause that's super important right now. And just be patient with this new technology, this new territory. Being an early mover can be a good thing, and it can put you ahead of the curve. But you have to be willing to be patient with the technology and with the industry, so that the kinks get worked out. Um, so yeah, in terms of our quick take for today, there's a lot of room for growth in the NFT market. You could think of this current landscape again as the internet in the early 2000s. It's still early. There's much to figure out, but don't be afraid to jump in. And when you do your homework. So we'll be keeping an eye out for this and just seeing how it develops. And of course, if you use the Timbucktoo, you probably won't have these problems. Just saying, you know,
Just saying.
shameless plug always. Shameless plug always. But
Yeah,
yeah, that's all we have for the quick take, man. That's
I
all we
love
have.
it. That's a great quick take, Derek. That's great. Yeah, and doing your own research, like one tip that you guys can do is like when it comes to NFT projects, like take a look at that roadmap. Like usually what
Yeah,
happens is if an NFT project is coming out, they'll have a roadmap, which you can think of like similar to a business plan. It lays
yeah.
out the vision for that collection and exactly how they're going to go about attaining that vision. So it's like one way for you to just really equip yourself with knowledge, and you can ask those critical questions of, okay, how confident am I in this collection's ability to manifest these goals, right? So yeah,
Yeah.
overall, yeah, that's great, right? It's
That's a
like
great
you
point.
said, this is a
Great
nascent
point.
industry. We're still trying to work out the kinks. Like
Yeah.
probably 5 years from now, all of this will probably be figured out. But we're in the trenches, baby.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I also want to say too, well, I'll get to that later. I'll get to that later for free game. Um, but yeah, Mama, I'll let you hop into the market. Give the people what they want, man. Give the people what they came for. What's
Right.
what's what's going on with the market?
Man, so on a macro level, when it comes to NFTs right now, as you may have heard from us in the news, like we are experiencing a bear market, things are down. However, that doesn't mean there is an opportunity. So right now, the total market cap for the NFT industry is 2.184 billion, meaning
Mm,
that's the total value
mm.
of activity that's occurring. In this week alone, for the past 7 days, we've seen a total of 93,752 transactions of NFTs. And of those 93,000 NFTs that were sold, it equated to $132 million of value.
Wow. Wow. So
So
it's still active.
it's still active. And it goes back to what you was just saying, man. Like during recessions, it's a great time for you to really figure things out and really take advantage from like a entrepreneurial or creative lens, right? So I would say don't be fearful, right?
Yep.
There's that one Warren Buffett quote I always love, like be fearful when others are greedy and greedy when others are fearful. Like jump
Yep.
in. If you are some kind of creator or entrepreneur, try to figure out how your NFTs can be of real intrinsic value, like what can set them apart, and really
Hmm.
go about building that community because you can get a piece of this action. 132 million of value within a week, the past 7 days.
Shoot. Give me a little piece of pie of that. You
Just
know
a
what I'm
little.
saying?
Uh,
Just
Sweet potato, preferably.
man, listen. Give me a I was gonna say pepperoni, but I know we don't rock with the swine. But give me, little piece of shrimp or something on a piece, something.
A little shrimp. Not even shrimp, but shrimp.
A shrimp. Shoot, just give me the crust. I'll take the crust. I take the crust. 132 million. I take the crust.
Cool. So that's the market. Once again, don't be afraid. Do your own research. Equip yourself with the knowledge where you can really make an impact. If also, always, if you have any questions and we can be of service, reach out to us. We're always open.
Yep. Hey, that was gonna be my free game. That was gonna be my free game for the day. Look, listen, if you are a business owner, whether you want to use our platform or not, reach out to us, man. We would love to have conversations, man. We enjoy talking with business owners about integrating Web3 into their businesses. We would love to have conversations and better understand, your business and how you think that Web3 can be useful, and then also just talking you through, from our perspective, ways that you can integrate this technology. There's definitely a lot out there. You know, don't be scared to say, hey, I don't know anything about this. I just found your channel, your podcast a year later. Are you still able to listen? Yes, the answer is yes.
Always.
Reach out. We always here to educate the masses, to have great conversations, and hopefully, impact entrepreneurs, creators, and your regular folk as well. That's listening in. That's just interested. So again, free game. Reach out to us. This is episode 1 of the podcast, and we want to give you that free game. From Derek, Mamadou, I'll let you, give your free game for the folk.
Yeah, I mean, always ask questions. Even if you don't want to necessarily speak with us, but you want us to cover a topic, please leave a comment down below.
Yeah.
DM us on all social media platforms.
Yeah.
We're here for the people, man. We're here
At
for
Relink, at Relink Global.
At Relink Global. Thank you.
Okay, I had to get closer to the mic for that one.
Yeah, man. We're here for the culture, man. And just remember, the talk is different.
The talk is different. Yes, sir.
Till next time. See ya.
All right.